What's up, everyone? Welcome to the video and happy Thanksgiving. We are here talking prize picks for week 12 of the NFL season, Turkey Day edition. Just going over three props that are the most to me as of right now on Tuesday night. And some of these lines could end up changing by the time kickoff rolls around on Thursday, so keep that in mind if you do see some different lines posted than the ones I have here in the video. And really all I'm trying to do here is find the best value on prize picks compared to a sports book like DraftKings, which offers much sharper lines, although it's tough to find value on a small slate like this. So maybe we're going to be reaching a little bit, maybe just a little bit, but I do think there are some guys that are in some pretty good spots with the numbers, maybe just being a little bit too low. And also, if this is your first time here, I should introduce myself. My name is Chris Pennell. I break down NASCAR and NFL DFS each and every single week on this channel. I also work over on Stochastic during baseball and NASCAR season. That's why I'm not there right now. But I do like to dabble into the prize pick streets as well because I live in Florida. I can't legally bet here, but this is my work way around it. And I'm going to Ohio tomorrow, so I gotta get these bets in now because I can't even play prize picks in Ohio, which absolutely sucks. All right, so the first prop I'm looking at, and it's one that disappointed me on last Sunday's video, which was not a good week for me. Hopefully, we can bounce back here. I've been the king of 2 out of 3 each and every single week this season, it seems like. So if you're doing flex plays, that's been working. But anyway, we are looking at Stefon Diggs. I have no hard feelings. I'll go right back to you, buddy. He's currently sitting at 89.5 yards over on PrizePicks. Same over on the DK Sportsbook, I believe, minus 115 for the over. So basically even on that compared to the under, which is also minus 115. But this is a great matchup versus the Detroit Lions. They have sucked versus the pass this year, and specifically versus wide receivers. 23rd DVA versus the pass this season, allowing the 5th most points per game to fantasy wide receivers. 190 yards specifically to the receiver position. And Stefon Diggs, this man gets a lot of targets. And while I do expect the Bills to win by a sizable margin, they are 9.5 point favorites in Vegas. This should still be pretty high scoring. And the Lions at home have surprised us a few times this year where they can put up some points. So if they can somewhat hang with the Bills, I'm expecting a very big game from Josh Allen and Stefon Diggs here, playing in a dome-controlled climate. And they just played there last week versus Cleveland, so at least they've been well acclimated to the stadium there and how it all works. But anyway, 53.5 point over-under in this game, 31.5 point implied team total for the Buffalo Bills. And on the season, Stefon Diggs just getting a ton of usage, 29% target share, double-digit targets per game, nearly a touchdown per game, 130 receiving yards, which is about, 12, 13 yards over the prop that we have this week, and a 36% market share of the team's air yards. Guy's one of the best receivers in the game. He's got one of the best quarterbacks getting in the ball, and I'm not expecting too much resistance from this defense. And besides last week, the past 5 games, Diggs has gone over this prop number, so I think he can do it once again here. And if you are playing DFS, I am basically locking Josh Allen, Stefon Diggs this week, so I'm going to correspond that with taking their overs on prize picks as well. And before we get into the next pick, if you do end up enjoying today's video, if you can do me one small thing in return, leaving a like down below, subscribing to the channel. I'll be here all season long, although it is kind of ending. Do cover other sports as well, so I would appreciate that. Just something nice and small. And like I said, I like these guys in DFS, so I'm taking their overs on prize picks. And Josh Allen, he's currently sitting at 24.5 fantasy points on prize picks. I like taking the over here. Obviously, we have nothing to correspond that with the DraftKings Sportsbook, but if we are looking at my projections for this week, they do use DraftKings scoring, although we are not going to get a 3-point bonus if he goes over 300 passing yards, which does kind of suck, but even then, I have him at around 29.5 points here. It's just the Lions are bleeding points to the fantasy quarterback position this year, just getting absolutely killed. They're actually allowing the most per game this season at 25.5, and that's just their average. You add into the fact that you have pretty much the second best fantasy quarterback this year, only behind Patrick Mahomes and Josh Allen. I definitely think we're in a pretty big game. Would not be surprised if we see 30-plus fantasy points from Josh Allen here. The only concern is if they get up big early on, the Detroit Lions don't make this a game, but I don't think we should really worry too much about that. We've seen in blowouts this season where Josh Allen just pours on a ton of points. And on the season, talking just under 300 yards passing, over 2 passing touchdowns, throwing the ball over 33 times per game. And what makes him super valuable, which makes me feel a little bit better about this prop number that is pretty high at 24.5. He's giving you 50 yards on the ground per game and about a half a rushing touchdown. So if he can just hit his averages, I feel pretty good about this. Adding to the fact that it's a plus matchup, you have weapons like Stefon Diggs, Gabe Davis, Isaiah McKenzie, Dawson Knox. As long as the touchdowns are there, I feel really good about this number. I currently have him 5 points over. I mean, you kind of have to take a little bit away from the 300-yard bonus because I do believe I am giving him around 300 yards in projections. But even then, I still like taking the over here because I'm loving the Bills on Thanksgiving. And before we get into our next pick, I want to talk about our sponsor, PrizePicks. If you are a new user over there, you can do us both a solid. Use promo code CPEN when you do sign up if you're a first-time user, and you can get an instant deposit match bonus up to $100. I know what you're thinking. There's got to be some strings attached. Well, there is not. It is free money. Please use that to your advantage. And they're also giving out free money for real this weekend. On top of the deposit match bonus, they are offering the Justin Jefferson yardage prop at 0.5. So as long as he doesn't break a limb to start the game, he is going to hit that over no matter what. He can have a bad game, he can have a great game, but he's getting you a yard at least. And even if something tragic happened, I'm sure they would refund you anyway. So all you have to do is pair that up with another prop and you're well on your way to making some decent cash this week. So take advantage of all those offers. You sign up using promo code CPEN, take the over on Justin Jefferson, pair it up with another prop that you like. You can use one of these in the video and you are well on your way. So I highly recommend checking that out. You can use the link down below in the description, in the comment section, or have it on PrizePicks.com and take advantage of the offer that they're doing this week for Thanksgiving. And moving on to our last prop here, we're looking at a prop that correlates quite well with the other two picks that we already talked about, the overs on Stephon Diggs and Josh Allen. If I'm expecting the Bills to put up a lot of points, well, that means the Detroit Lions are going to be in a bit of a catch-up mode, which Vegas would agree. They're currently at plus 9.5 here in this game at home, which means they're probably going to have to sling the rock a little bit. And if that's going to be the case, I like running back a lot of my stacks with Amon-Ra St. Brown and DFS, so I'm going to try to take us over on PrizePicks as well. And there's a couple ones you could do. You could look at the receptions prop, which is currently sitting at 7. It seems a bit steep for me. If it was at 6.5, I'd probably take the over 7. It's kind of right around where I'd expect it. But his receiving yards prop, it's around 74.5. Again, kind of right around where I think it could be. But his fantasy point prop looks a little bit more appealing to me, currently sitting at 15. I think he can certainly get there, because if you add to the fact where he's got potential for touchdowns, I mean, I'll take the 15 over the other props. I'm fine with any of them, though. I think he's in for a pretty good game here versus this Bills defense that has not been very good versus fantasy wide receivers. Overall this year, they've had a solid pass defense, 7th DVOA, but specifically to the wide receiver position, 24th versus the position, allowing 36.5 fantasy points per game, 161 receiving yards, and 1 receiving touchdown, specifically to the wide receiver position. In my projections this week, I currently have him at 19.45 DraftKings points, and that should line up well. Obviously, if he happens to get a bonus, you're not going to get that on PrizePicks, but if you factor in a chance for a touchdown, I don't mind that. This is a great game script. 53.5 point over under. Should be pretty high scoring back and forth. I like that they're playing at home in the Dome, and I am expecting the Lions to be trailing here, which sets up very well for an Amon-Ra St. Brown game. And if you're playing on DraftKings, he's only $6,600. He's going to be very popular, but I think he's an excellent play over there. So 15, I think the prop number should be around 15.5 or 16. So I do like taking the over here, as I think it's just a little bit too low. With that being said, guys, that'll be it for the video. I hope you did enjoy it. If you did, make sure you leave a like down below. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't yet done so. Hope you all have a fantastic Thanksgiving filled with friends, family, whatever you wanted to be with. Football, hopefully the games are good, and I wish you all the best of luck, and I'll see you all next time.